What is up, YouTube? Today I'm riding the 2023 Harley-Davidson Road King. As you can see, beautiful blue color here. I remember I rode the Road King back in 2016 or 2017, and I think it was one of my favorite Harley bikes. It's just so smooth, fun to ride. This one has a Screaming Eagle intake on it and a few other Screaming Eagle parts. I think the exhaust is aftermarket because it's pretty loud. Sounds so good. Wow, nice rumble to it. The bike is shaking pretty violently at a stop here. I haven't ridden, even the Breakout I rode earlier didn't shake like this, and that's a characteristic of some of the older Harley bikes. Taking off from a stop is fairly easy. Some good impact resistance on that, going over that bump there, not too bad. Some of the other bikes I've ridden today were a little bit stiffer. This one's actually very comfortable so far. Man, that exhaust is so loud, I love it. It's not super loud when you're just kind of putt-putting around here. I think if we open it up, it should get a little bit louder there. The bike definitely doesn't like lower RPMs. It kind of shakes quite a bit when you get into too low of RPM, so trying to keep it in a good RPM range here. This bike has the 114 cubic inch engine that Harley offers. Fairly big, not quite as big as the 117 Breakout that I just rode. This is more of a comfortable touring bike, whereas the Breakout is more of a muscle cruiser. Oh yeah, sounds so good. Coming to a slowdown and stop here. It's a little bit more to manage. I mean, it feels like a heavy bike when you get on. Not quite as heavy as the Breakout feels, but maybe close. I mean, it definitely takes some effort to kind of balance it here. Over here is the gas gauge, nothing there, and then you have a speedometer, and there might be an RPM gauge on here. But yeah, that's first gear. I'm trying to just feather it around the corner here. Oh yeah, she's got some good power, good pickup. Yeah, going around that corner, I mean, it's hard to say right off the bat. It didn't feel too bad though. It felt pretty easy going around that corner. And now with the Breakout I rode earlier, I scraped the peg taking a regular turn, so I don't think this one's as low. Oh yeah, that sounds so good. So this bike doesn't have pegs, this bike has floorboards, and so you can really relax your feet and just let them rest there. Really nice. And forward control, so the shifter's way up there, and the rear brake is up there, and it's kind of blocked by this Screaming Eagle exhaust. So I'm trying to figure out how to use the rear brake here. Well, first of all, the rear brake is so high up there, I really have to lift my foot and test my ankle flexibility to get up there. And then you do have the Screaming Eagle intake that's kind of in the way a little bit. You do have to kind of wrap around it and press the brake pedal there, so it's not super direct. But yeah, overall the seating position is very comfortable. I'm sitting pretty upright. I have room to relax my arms still, so I'm not really stretched out. The seat is very comfortable. I think it's the most comfortable seat I've ridden today. It just hugs your butt. There's a dip in the back so that you don't slide back off the seat there. And this windscreen is quite out of my vision. It's not blocking my vision, it's not halfway in, halfway out. I think it's nice. It's at a good position where it'll block some wind and not interfere with your field of vision. So very simple bike, there's not much to it. So it does have cruise control. But yeah, there's not too much technology besides traction control and ABS on this bike. Pretty easy to take off from a stop. The shifting's a little clunky, but it's not always a bad thing. It's very direct. It goes into gear. You can definitely tell there's a solid clunk when it goes into gear. So you can definitely tell when you actually shifted the gear and not misshifted. But yeah, we're rolling around here, lower RPMs, and it's pretty good. I like it so far. It's very comfortable. I like the sound. So you do have to pull in the clutch pretty hard. It's not super soft. It does provide some resistance to you. And the throttle is pretty smooth, although there's a little bit of on and off jerkiness initially in the lower gears. Let's see if we can shift up a bit. Yeah, it's still on and off. It's still pretty instant there. I don't really like the turn signals being on each side, but the right turn signals on the right handlebars, the left signals on the left handlebar. I don't know if I really like that. I'd have to get used to it. I like having it on one side, just easier to remember, but that's just me. So these Road Kings have gotten pretty expensive. I think this one's coming in around 26,000, 25,000 or so, but overall it's a nice package. Definitely gives you that Harley feel. This one even more so than some of the smaller bikes. Shift to second, lean it over. Oh yeah, that feels so good. Yeah, it feels great leaning it over. It wants to lean over. I mean, there's no problems leaning it over. The breakout, the Harley breakout that I rode earlier, that thing didn't want to lean over. You really had to push that one. This one just falls into the corner and allows you to complete the turn very easily. Alright, let's try rear brakes here. Oh wow, yeah, they're pretty good. Not too grabby. I think just the right amount of grab on these ones. And having ABS on here really helps. You're not going to lock up the brakes. It does feel really stable though at speeds here, but then it does feel like it can turn pretty easily. I mean, let's see. So yeah, it requires a little bit of input. Let's see, turn it over. Not too bad. I don't know if there's a gear indicator on this bike. It's something I would kind of want. At least right now I kind of want it because I've never ridden this bike before. Well, not recently. It's pretty aggressive. I mean, it's got some power. It wants to do things. Oh man, we're going so slow. I gotta shift down to first. Oh yeah, she's got some power. And on a bigger bike like this, the power just makes sense. So far, I don't really feel any heat on my legs, on my ankles. That's good. Some of the other bikes I was riding, there's a lot of heat being put onto my ankles and my legs. This one, I don't feel any heat yet, so that's good. Downshift, rev match. So yeah, finding the rear brake pedal is a little difficult because of the intake. So not sure I really feel confident rear braking on this bike. Yeah, throttle's a little touchy, not gonna lie. Overall, I do like it though. It's very comfortable, and that exhaust just makes it so much more fun to ride when it sounds great. I'm 5'11", and as you can see, this bike sits pretty low. Both of my knees are pretty bent. So fairly low sitting bike. It is heavy though, so smaller riders are going to really have to work on balancing this bike. And if it gets off camber here, it takes a little bit of strength to move it back. I kind of like that there's some bikes that Harley makes that are still a little bit analog. I mean, you have ABS and traction control, which is awesome. Doesn't really hinder the experience. And then you have a nice speedometer here, analog. So that kind of gives you the old classic feel of Harley-Davidson. I like that it shakes a lot. It really feels like a Harley when you're riding it. I do like shifting it. It's clunky, but in a good way. And yeah, the clutch pull is a little bit more difficult than some of the other bikes I rode today. So you do have to give it some strength. My wrist is a little sore today, and I can kind of feel how that clutch pull is working my wrist there. Yeah, more than enough power, especially in a big bike like this. You want a good amount of power in a big bike. But yeah, this thing picks up very quickly. At speed here, it's pretty smooth. I don't feel a ton of vibrations in the handlebars and down near the engine bay in the tank. So once you're at speed, it's fairly smooth. Just when you're idling, it likes to shake quite a bit. I don't really know what gear I'm in. I don't know if there's a gear indicator or not. But yeah, overall, I think the Road King is one of the best packages that Harley has. It's just a comfortable, all-around, good cruiser. You can use it for touring, you can use it for street riding. Fairly easy to ride, even as a bigger bike. Just a little bit heavier. And it's got more than enough power to keep you satisfied. But yeah, come ride one of these, check it out for yourself, obviously, and compare it to the other cruisers from some of the other manufacturers.